Welcome back to the Bold Bet Podcast, where we take smart, intentional risk to rewrite what's possible. And today's episode is for anyone who's ever asked, why is it still this hard to get it right for Black women in medicine? I'm Alana J. Miller, global clinical trials leader, public health scholar, and relentless advocate for health equity. And today's Bold Bet, we're putting something on the table that should have been fixed yesterday: the underrepresentation of Black women in clinical trials. Now, let's be real. This isn't about diversity optics. This is about safety, efficacy, and outcomes. Because if we're not in the data, we're not in the solution. Black Americans make up nearly 13% of the US population, but only 5% of clinical trial participants. And for Black women, in many cases, especially in oncology or cardiovascular trials, we're barely represented at all. This underrepresentation leaves life or death decisions being made on populations that don't include us. Let us break down the structural issues. Number one, we have policy gaps. There's no federal requirement for demographic diversity in clinical trials. We were moving toward diversity action plans, but that momentum has stalled. And now, sponsors can run trials without considering racial equity and still get them approved. Number two, accessibility barriers. Most trials don't happen where Black women live. There's no transportation, no childcare, no flexible hours, and most importantly, and most damaging, there's no community trust. Number three, historical trauma. From Tuskegee to Henrietta Lacks to medical gaslighting today, how can we expect trust when we haven't earned it? So here's the bold bet I'm placing. We don't need more programs. We need structural policy and people-powered pressure. So advocacy action number one I'm proposing is direct lobbying. I'm calling for national policy requiring all federally reviewed clinical trials to submit a diversity action plan before approval. It's easy. No plan, no trial. And for those who are doing it right, let's offer some funding incentives, priority reviews, and public recognition for equitable research design. Advocacy action number two, engage citizenship. Policy needs people. So I'm organizing community storytelling forums, spaces where Black women can share why they have or haven't participated in clinical trials. And these narratives are not just for stories, they're policy fuel. We'll compile them and deliver them straight to the FDA, HHS, and congressional advisory boards to humanize the policy push. So who's going to come on board with me? The Black Women's Health Imperative. They've been leaders in research justice long before hashtags existed. And the National Minority Quality Forum. They bring the data, the policy chops, and the legislative reach to make things happen. Together, we'll host roundtables, analyze trial site data, and drive real change. So what's the impact? The hope is that we'll reduce barriers like childcare, transportation, and mistrust. And this will help build the scaffolding that'll center Black women in research design. We'll stop being afterthoughts and we'll become the blueprint. And when we get it right for Black women, you end up getting it better for everyone. So what are the ripple effects? Better data leads to better care for all underserved groups. Public trust in science grows, and inclusive innovation becomes the norm and not just the exception. Of course, you have some sponsors who will push back. Timelines might stretch, costs might rise, but equity is not easy work. It's essential work. So here's my ask. Advocate, amplify, show up. The system won't fix itself, but we can. Thanks for tuning into the Bold Bet. If this sparks something in you, send it to someone who needs to hear it. And if you're ready to move from passive ally to active co-conspirator, meet me on the front lines, because the future we deserve is one we build together. All right, see you next time. Betting on you, betting on me, betting on us. The Bold Bet Podcast with Alana Miller. Thank you.